Welcome to Tech Buzz India. So in this video, we are going to learn about OS module in Python. So basically, OS is the module that we are going to learn after learning Python. For that reason, we aren't required any kind of heavy tech stack. Just required a basic knowledge of Python so that you can't get an error like indentation error or any kind of basic error and not getting stuck in it. Just kidding, guys. So actually, in this video, we are going to implant the OS model side by side with learning theory with ideal approach. Hope you find this video entertaining. Let's get started then. Hope I am audible to you. So what we are doing is just dividing the OS module into three parts. First part is for introduction. Second part is for path and path interactions in OS model. And in third part, we are allocating some useful commands along with the environmental commands and system commands in OS module. So just for introduction, referring this image. Actually, I am not going to any kind of theory in this session, but for just introduction, take a look over here. So introduction. Okay, what is OS? OS stands for operating systems. It is a Python's module written in Python, where which or with which we can communicate with operating systems. With OS module, we can create directories, work with file paths, run system commands, and like system or file level working. And also it is used in automation, like process automation, etc. At the very first, we have to just import that OS module. Okay, this is enough for introduction about OS module. So brief idea is that the module is written in Python, or it is the Python's module with which we can communicate with operating system and do automation in with the Python's code. So in terminal, I am running the Python as script so that I can demonstrate to you with examples. Let's minimize it like much. Okay, so let's changing the directory to desktop first. Okay, now I'm desktop, good to go. Just running Python here. Okay, now I have run the Python as script, just importing OS. Make sure to download install the OS module first. So I have imported the OS module. Now let's go with some introductory commands about OS module. So first command is get current working directory. With that command, we can get our current working directory. So this is like printing os.get current working directory. Okay, so this is our current working directory, which is like user, C drive users, Vivek Kumbar, and then desktop. So this command is short formed as os.getcwd, means os.get current working directory. This command is useful because when we aren't understanding or we aren't gotten where we are or where the pointer is actually pointing, then we can get current working directory with this command. Then we have list of directories and current working directory command, which is like not actually we have to print just os.listdir, means listing the directories at that current path. Okay, the current path is that desktop. On desktop I have the files which are like bmi, Arduino IDE.link, Flask, that MEC project. Okay, look over here. Here is Flask. Here is like MEC project, and these all the directories or files which are like WhatsApp link, means that image we have referred previously. So as this is Python script as Python, we can run Python in it for sure, like for I in os.listdir print I. Now we are good to go. Okay, now we have just printed our directories or file names which are on desktop with that Python's command or loop. etc., whatever it may be. So we have gone through two commands, which are os.getCurrent working directory, means os.getcwd, and os.list directories, means os.listdir. Now we have commands like make directory, means which is short from as mkdir. So os.mkdir. So I'm going to just make a directory called os module today. Okay. When I hit enter, then a directory called os module today is appeared on my desktop. But the thing about that make dir function is that if I have previously os module today directly on my desktop previously, then if I want to create it or write the code about to create that directory, it shows error that file is existing previously. For that reason, we have another command, which is our fourth command, that is os.make directories, which is abbreviated as makedirs, make directories. Like we are going with an example. First I have to create one directory, so os, which I have to create, which I want to create, then exist, okay, which is equal to, okay, the line exist underscore okay is equal to true, means that if the directory is already existing, then don't throw error, just keep as it is, or don't make the directory if it is existing previously. So when I hit enter, then a directory called as oss is created on my desktop. When I tend to create it like one more time, then I don't got an error, because I have written here exist is equal underscore okay is equal to true. Now we have four commands, which are get current working directory, means os.getcwd. Then we have os.mkdir for making directories, and then we have make directories for making directories without showing error also. And the rest one is that os.list directories for listing all the directories. Now we can do like as nested directories in one directory, like as suppose I have to create like 2 or 3 nested directories in that OSS directory. For that reason, I can do like let's make it like as. So then exist underscore okay is equals to true. Okay, sorry, I got a typo here. DIRS. Okay, now we are good to go. What we have done is just making directories such as osvive. So the separated line or slash means we are making nested directories. So in os we have v, in which we have I, in which we have e, and which we have k. So we have made and listed directories such as OSS and those VIVE. So these are the introductory commands about OS module. So now let's move to the second part in OS module. Now let's continue with second part, which is path interaction. So path is basically the location of that file or where we are working. So let's run the Python script. Let me zoom a bit. So let's import that OS module. Okay, now let's take a look where we are with os.getWorking directory. Okay, now we are at desktop. Let's make a file, make a directory over here, like name Rembo, I guess. Okay, now we have made a directory called as rainbow at desktop. So I have told you about path. So this string is called as path, means the location at where we are now or where we are working about. So this is called as path. So first command we have is that os.path.joint. So os dot, which is like os.path.join. So with this command we are joining the path or constructing the path which we are need. So let's took with an example that suppose we have to make a directory inside that rainbow directory called as templates. So how do we made it? So one approach is that to go to that rainbow directory and made a directory, but we are developers, we aren't going like that way. So we have os.path.join and many more uses of it. So let's go with it. As I am making path variable in which os.path.join, that I am working in current directory which is called as os.get. Current working directory means the desktop, and then I am joining the rainbow with the called as templates, templates, templates. So I made a path which is pointing at templates. So let's make a directory which is os.makedirs, finding following that path. Okay, now let's take a look. Okay, in rainbow I have made templates directory. So you might have thinking, but just going over there and making directory is easy than the doing like this approach that I have did. But what if you just have to make a heavy blueprint of directories or directories which are in like concentric format, such as like directory in directory, overlap directories. So for that reason this os.path.joint is very helpful. Suppose you have to make a directory called as like, suppose like path is os.path.join, in which you have just like os.get current working directory, then you have rainbow, then you have v, then I, then E, okay, then K. Yes, so this is correct for now, I guess. Which is expectation by method. Yeah. So I just missed the parenthesis over here at current working directory, my bad. So now we have path like this, just print a path. Okay, so making the overlapping directories like this, we can still use like os.make directories. Then we are just following path and exist underscore okay, which is true. So now let's take a look. In rainbow directory I have v, in which I have I, then E, then K. So this is the path that we are talking about. So first we have like done the os.path.join, and note my words, this is the main function, or this is the most important functions which we are working with. So now we have second concept, that absolute path versus relative path. So relative path is just the path or the file name which we are providing instead of providing whole path, because we are working on that directory. Suppose you are working with some files. Let me give you an example. Suppose you are in VS Code and you just require any HTML file name over here in some root, like in the home root or rendering template. So, or like you have to load some link over here. Then instead of writing the whole path of that file, you just giving the slash and that file name or root name. This is called as the relative path. But providing the whole location means the basic location from C drive to that basic dir name, dir name. This is called as the absolute path. So now I hope that things are clear about absolute path and the relative path. So we can just convert the we can just convert the relative path to the absolute path with the function called as os.path.abs path. So let's take an example. Suppose I am making a variable path, then os.path.abs so absolute path is I'm going with the rainbow, I guess. Now the path, sorry, is not different. Sorry, I got a typo here. So yeah, now I have the absolute path for that rainbow directory. Instead of I just os dot. Now let's give the path for another directory os dot path dot abs path, I guess, in which I am plus. I hope I have directory named flask. Okay, I have directory that flask. The path. Okay, now we have path as flask. So this is what we are learn about direct relative path and that absolute path. Then we have the dir name and the base name. So dir name means the name which we are using with the directories like this. For that case, we have dir name means directory name this, and base name means where we are working about or where our pointer is, that which is called as a base name, which I am highlighting over here for this example. Let's go with the current working directory, whatever it may be. It is just current working directory. Now we have a desktop. Then dir name means the user Vivek Kumar C drive, that this called as os dot. Let's check os dot dir name. Yes, okay. Os dot get current working directory. Then what is here? Okay, I just gave an extra parenthesis over here. os.dir working directory dot. Sorry, I got an error over here because I just missed the path in that function, just making it os.path.dir name get current working directory. Okay, then okay, means the directory name is that, and the base name must be the desktop over here. So let's take a look. os.path.base name, and then we are passing about os.path. Sorry, okay, I just os.path.base name and name os.get current working directory. So okay, the base name is desktop. Okay, apart from these commands, we have another command called as rename, with which we can rename the file names or the directory names. Let's take with an example that os dot rename, I guess, just os dot rename with the file. I have made what, the rainbow. Yeah, so let's change the name of rainbow to star, I guess. Okay, attribute exit and add rainbow to star, but why the access, I guess old name must be changed with the new name, but name, I guess, or rename. Okay, we will look for it further. RENAME. I hope I don't got a typo over here, but let's just leave it for now. But with the command os.rename, we can just rename the files, pre-existing files, in which format called as old file name with new file name separated by comma. Then we have another command called as os.remove, with which we can remove the directories or any files. Just remove the remove directory, os.remove. Okay, note that be careful while using that remove command, because it is not going to ask you twice about can I remove this. Certainly, because it is just going to execute that command which we have given to it. Just be a bit curious, a bit. Sorry, rainbow is rainbow. Yeah, I have rainbow, but why the hell is rainbow is not working? Just current working directory, yeah, desktop. Then path, I guess we are pointing at desktop now, so base name must be desktop over here. So but let's make a path for the removal. That just hold on a minute. Yes, I do have remove over here. Access denied. So okay, no worries at all. We will debug it certainly for it. Then the last command about path interactions is that remove empty directory, which is os.rm, which is os.okay, which is os.rmdir, or remove empty directory, with which we can remove the empty directory with the os module. So this is all about the path interactions which we have learned so far. Thank you for watching. For third part of OS module, we don't have much to talk about because we have covered significant portion of it, but we have left the two commands which are os.walk, and we have how do we can run the system commands with OS module. So at very first, to run the system commands with OS module, we are going to follow the os.system that, and in parentheses in string format we are going to run the system commands, like cls system command is for the cleaning of that screen. So at very first, let me clear here some mess. Just control Z and icon import OS. Okay, now let's clear the whole screen with the system command. To run the system command, I am going with os.system, and in parentheses in the string format I am writing the system command, the cls, with which it is gone. You can try many more commands or the different commands with os.system and in parentheses and in string format. So let's get into the last point, which is os.walk. So os.walk is the main function or the important one that we are going to learn now. So what we have, just why do we require that os.walk? Suppose you are working on file, you have a large blueprint where which you have directories which are enclosed in directories in concentric manners, or so many files, so many zips, or like suppose hundreds of files to hundreds of files with directories and zip. So to make the record of all these, we are required to iterate or go everywhere on that files or folders up. Okay, rather than just browsing over there or just spending the time, we have os.walk function in os module, with which we are going to analyze through each root directory or file in that directory. So let's get started. So for implementation of this, we gonna require a for loop for root comma directories comma files in os.walk. Let's go with a directory called as flask, which is on my desktop since 1 year, I guess. So for root comma directories comma file in os.walk with a flask, just print root, just print directories, just print the files. Okay, so in flask we have instances. In flask directory we have directories called as instances, static, templates, and YGB. Okay, and the okay, those are directories which we have flask in flask. So there are files called as house price prediction, model.pickle, scalar.pickle, and app.py. So in flask slash instances directory, we have uploads directory and the files which are house price database and test os SQL 3 database and vivek.database. So this is how we are going to iterate through in recursion pattern through each of the file root and directory in reside file with the os.walk method. So thank you for watching. We have covered the os module. Thanks for your support, guys. So os module is done. Congratulations.